I think the bigger one is the LGBTQ matter. Then is the issue happening in Parliament. Do you see it as a delay tactic? And your party didn't agree with the bill as passed. So are you happy that the Speaker has intervened? How are you going to deal with this matter, considering that the Speaker's request is seen as unlawful to an extent?
So Maru, thank you, and good morning to my senior brothers here. See, the reason why I needed time to talk about this LGBTQI is because there's history. And Sam George and a few of the NDC friends are trying to deflect the issues and taking the conversation out of context because they know what it does to them. No pretense here. If there is one single thing that catapulted the NDC into power in 2024, LGBTQI will be part. In fact, if you should pick the 5 things that catapulted them and gave them a certain high level of goodwill, it will be LGBTQI. They lied about it. They did propaganda about it. They spun the issues on LGBTQI.
What did they lie about?
I'll come to it. So bad so that at some point, even if you are minding your business and you're polling station chairman of MPP, you are seen in a certain light. Even at the time when there was a bill that was proposed by both sides of the house. And that is why I find it extremely hypocritical when the NDC, especially Sam George and his friends, want us to make it look like it's okay, a law has been passed, let's just move. It's dangerous. And it's marks of a group of people who are not interested in anything in this country but just politics. I'll tell you why. We're all in this country. When something started going on around the country, you wake up in the morning, some people have mounted billboards, some people are flying flags. In fact, let me remind you, probably refresh your mind. What brought the heat in this conversation was when a certain office was set up around Hachu on LGBTQI. That is what actually sparked the conversation and then eventually brought the whole country around a certain bill. Nobody from the MPP side, or let me say the MPP, I won't say nobody, the MPP and NDC made up a lot of people, but the MPP as an organization and government has never for once been against the LGBTQI bill. There is no record of the president or any minister of state or even members of parliament as a group saying that as far as MPP we're against the bill. None. In fact, for the record, the bill was not championed by Sam George. It was championed by Sam George and other members of parliament, including MPP members of parliament. One MPP yes, member. Yes. I mean 2024.
7.
Then the bill was put in parliament. When the bill was put in parliament, members from both sides expressed views. In fact, lawyers from the NDC side actually expressed certain views on the LGBTQI bill. I personally, I was on TV3, I remember, and I told them that I am for anything that ensures that my little child is not exposed to this nonsense. However, I am against certain clauses in the law that criminalizes you, Umar Sanda, and I being sent on an assignment in Tamale and want to go and sleep at Modern City. Our money, we want to save one and use one, and we are going to be charged for some crime. I was against that. I was against so many other aspects of the law. That is what everybody heard us talk about. Not just me, other citizens of the country said that there are certain aspects of the law that includes even how lawyers can conduct themselves when it comes to issues of LGBTQI, how civil society organizations, how experts can talk about the matter. Because in that law as it was passed in 2024 or as it was being discussed in 2024, included things that did not make sense. Not once did Sam George acknowledge these legitimate concerns of these people. All he said was that pass the bill, pass the bill, pass the bill. And people kept saying the bill is dangerous. This morning, when you asked him a question about the experts, the water down on experts and why they have removed it and made it an exemption, you heard his response. He said that, but there's a NACA law and there's something in our directive principles of state principle policies that actually frowns on certain values, and so it makes up for it. Sam George, in 2024, when his attention was being drawn by Richard Sky and Co., that there are laws in this country, as you mentioned earlier, that already are against this LGBTQI thing. Do you know what he said? He said, if you think these laws are there, then why do you have a problem in aggregating and consolidating all of these different laws into one law? But you see today, he's referencing a NACA law, which is separate, and saying that that could be used, using constitution to control experts and their views on LGBTQI. So that is where our concern is at the moment. Because based on these things, which were legitimate concerns, which today you agree with, you went on the street of Accra and called another Danko Akufo-Addo Turumutu man. Those were the words you used. Turumutu man. You called MPP Turumutu party. You went to Asin North and told them that if you don't vote against the MPP candidate, they would not pass an anti-Turumutu law because MPP supports Turumutu. To the extent that even me, Miracles, that I love girls, love women, when I see women,
men candidate.
No, like you and like myself and Umaru, the way we see women and we are happy.
No.
Don't question him.
Go on your own. Continue.
All of a sudden, because I'm MPP, when I step out, people like Sam George and Co have made it look like all of a sudden, even me, I'm gay. That is how bad the situation was, and that is why some of us will not allow Sam George and Co to take the conversation out of context.
But what have they
done?
Now
wait, relax. Now fast forward. The law was passed in the midst of all the concerns that were raised. The law was passed without Sam George and Co acknowledging these concerns by Richard Sky, Amanda Gajepo and Co. Without they acknowledging, they passed the law, and he passed the law with so much grin and excitement, and said that it must be punitive. In fact, I have a video of Sam George here saying that even that law that we passed is not punitive enough, and that when he goes to Uganda, even Museveni, what's the name?
Yoweri
Museveni, that is not liked, has even passed a law that includes death, and that our law is not even punitive enough because Uganda has death as part of the punishment. Now you come into office. Now let me even put, before I even get there, the law has been passed. When the law was passed, immediately the law was passed, Richard Sky went to court. And Richard Sky went to seek certain reliefs. The reliefs were clear. One of the reliefs sought to block Parliament from even transmitting the bill to the president. One of the reliefs they were seeking to. When I read the Supreme Court ruling this morning, it was quite clear. Now, the president at the time was written to, and there's this letter I keep hearing them saying, making it look like Akufo-Addo didn't want to sign. Akufo-Addo never anywhere said that he wasn't going to sign the law. He never said it anywhere. Akufo-Addo never said anywhere that he had a personal opinion on the law. The Attorney General wrote to the president, which is in the cease and desist letter, telling him that, Mr. President, I have been served with an application that is seeking to bar me and you from attempting to assent to the LGBTQI bill, which is true, the Richard Sky application. And there is also an application, the same application is also seeking to bar Parliament from even transmitting the law to you. Mr. President, my advice to you, and you are a lawyer, my advice to you is that, you are a law student. My advice to you is that when there is such application, you are preemptively barred from taking any action on the matter.
So don't touch it.
Remember, if you read the Richard Sky application, it was preemptive. Yeah. In fact, the Supreme Court judges said it, that he was only preempting, that if he doesn't act, the thing will be transmitted. So the Attorney General wrote and advised the President. All the President did was to write to Parliament, the Speaker. Remember, Parliament is also laws of their own, and said that this is what my Attorney General has advised me on. My advice is that I'm not going to flounce on the laws because I'm being barred now by this application. So don't transmit to me. Remember, Parliament was not under obligation to listen to the President. And that's something that people also refuse to realize. And they put the entire thing in Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo only wrote to you that don't transmit to me. The laws allow you to transmit your bill when you finish to me. I am only drawing your attention to what the Attorney General has told me and what the laws are. You could have ignored my letter because that is not, you are not on the only obligation to
still
transmit it to me. So that if it gets to me and I refuse to sign, then I'll be held responsible for it. When the letter was sent to Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament did not transmit the bill to the President. So as at 2024 7 December, Akufo-Addo had received no bill from the Parliament of Ghana. And yet, Sam George and his people, till date, made it look as if Akufo-Addo refused to sign a certain bill. As it stands now, has Mahama received the bill?
No.
How can we say Mahama has refused to sign the bill?
His secretary did not write to say don't bring it to me.
Because there's been no injunction served on the secretary.
Was it necessary for the secretary to have written to Parliament to say
yes, it was
don't send it to me?
Yes, it was very necessary.
If you know that the procedure is that when you pass a bill, you bring it, you should have waited when the bill is brought.
It was very necessary. That is why if you read the letter very well, the secretary quoted laws. Yes. So read and pay attention to the laws first.
I have seen that.
Exactly. So it was very necessary. But when you received that letter as Parliament, you were not under any obligation to respect that letter. If indeed you didn't think that the letter was making sense, you would have dispatched the bill to them. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you didn't think that the laws he was referencing and the laws he was referring to made sense, you would have gone ahead and sent
so
it
blame Parliament, not Akufo-Addo.
Don't blame Parliament, don't blame Akufo-Addo, blame our laws.
Okay.
Our laws are clear. If somebody takes a certain action, and even especially with the kind of action Richard took, it was a preemptive action. Anything you did would have hurt the reliefs we were seeking if he was granted those reliefs. You understand what I'm saying? So it was very important that anybody that believes in rule of law would actually respect that cease and desist letter, unless you seek to do the things Sam George and co were doing. Now, Akufo-Addo didn't receive the law. So for the record, nobody should ever say that Akufo-Addo did not sign anti-LGBTQI law.
But he did not sign.
Parliament was, no, the law didn't get to him.
Yeah, but he did not sign.
No, but he did not have any law.
Yeah, so he did not sign.
Please.
So I'll give you a chance.
He did not have any law. How do I sign something that I don't have?
Okay, continue.
What was there for him to sign?
Then it's continue.
There was nothing there for him to sign.
Okay.
You understand? And that is the dishonesty that the NDC peddle. Akufo-Addo did not sign a law. Has Mahama signed any law barring teachers from wearing uniform? Because there's no law like that before Mahama.
Okay.
What sense is there would there be for a teacher to go and say Mahama did not sign a law barring us from wearing uniform? Is there a law before Mahama to sign barring teachers from wearing uniform? Akufo-Addo had no law before him.
Okay.
For him to even determine whether he would sign or not. Then they said that if it was dispatched to him, then he would have made his concerns known. Akufo-Addo never said in his cease and desist letter that he personally had a concern. Was anything there like that?
So let's proceed from there.
No, I'm coming. There was no, but it's important. That part is very important. Yes. There was nowhere in the cease and desist letter that Akufo-Addo said that he had a personal view on the law. He didn't say that. In fact, he referenced Amanda and Richard Sky.
Yes.
In the cease and desist letter. So nobody should create that impression. But that is something that the NDC benefited from. Now you've benefited hugely from this. You've come to power. When you came to power, before you come to power, you made a promise to the people. You said, and the president himself said it, I will sign the law. That's what he said. I will sign the law. He never said, I will sign a revised law. I will sign the law.
As brought to him by Parliament.
Yes. Sam George said that if the President Mahama fails to sign the law, he was going to demonstrate or whatever. Now you've come. Just take that law that you so much believed in. The law you believed was even weak because it didn't include death penalty. Just take it to the president. You take it to Parliament. Then you know what they have done? The same issues that Richard Sky, Amanda, and so many other people, including myself, were raising are the issues that now you are going to remove. Remember that in 2024, Akufo-Addo didn't even have majority in Parliament. So a lot of the Parliament control was more or less balanced. Now you have absolute control. You don't even need the minority to do anything. You're going to remove the things that you were forcing Akufo-Addo to sign. The thing that you are calling Akufo-Addo names for not signing. You're going to make changes.
They're being progressive. That's how the country.
So thank God for the Akufo-Addo's vision. If that is even the case, it means that Akufo-Addo had. No, I'm just making a point. If you are saying that they were being progressive, it means that those who were against it, including myself, had the vision and foresight that Sam George and co and those in Parliament now didn't have.
They said they've just given it further meat.
They've actually reduced the meat. If you go and remove things from the thing, what have you done? How is further meat when you remove the
You
thing?
have not removed. They have explained further.
They have not.
They have taken steps to clarify.
I beg you. So you knew. So you knew that Richard Sky was right.
No,
you knew that Amanda was right.
No, they
you knew that those who were raising concerns, like myself then, raising concerns about some of these things were right.
They said they subjected it to the constitution, and people like Richard Sky were not fully satisfied. So that's why now they've decided to break it down.
Yeah, but so then if that is the case, then why is it that when Richard Sky and co went to court, seeking to bring these same things down, you were all over the country insisting that Akufo-Addo the issue, ignore all those things and sign? Why are you doing the water down?
Okay.
That's notwithstanding. You have done whatever you have to do. take it to the president to sign. You have confusion now amongst yourself. This one MPP cry is not part of it. Because we don't even matter. You've passed the thing alone. Because we believe that whatever you promise the people is what you should deliver. Even though I was against the clauses, you were for it. And you won the elections on the back of those things that you were for. So me, I am not for you removing anything from the law at this point. You made a promise. You must live by it. Now you have gone back to remove it. Your speaker disagrees with your majority leader. Your majority leader disagrees with your speaker. And you guys are now fighting. And your president himself is not ready to sign.
You never said.
But did the Akufo-Addo also say so? Okay. Did the Akufo-Addo say so?
Well.
The president is in London making excuses.
He's not making excuses.
He's not a member of parliament.
He's not making excuses.
He's not. What is he doing? He hasn't only put it on paper.
He said that. I keep
telling you that I'm very intelligent too. I won't lie to you. I'm a very intelligent guy. You know what the way they say it in Tree? Ububa metebe.
Okay.
Akufo-Addo put what Mahama is saying on paper.
That's the only difference.
That's the only difference. Akufo-Addo put what Mahama is saying on paper.
So one is verbatim, one is text.
But when you go to court, unverbal submissions also accepted.
They accepted.
So what are you talking
it's
about?
It's called Viva Voce.
He has basically sent a cease and desist notice to Parliament that they are supposed to do. They said there are some processes, procedural issues, and so he's hoping that they will resolve those issues. It's a cease and desist, except that it's not on a green letterhead. It doesn't mean that Mahama has refused to sign, because I am too intelligent to behave like the way Sam George and Co behaved by saying that Mahama hasn't signed when I know that the law is not before Mahama.
Thank you.
So to contextualize this conversation as I end,
I want it to end, please.
The hypocrisy of the NDC is quite glaring. They lied on the Akufo-Addo and the MPP. They misled the entire country into thinking that they love this country so much that they were passing a certain law and the Akufo-Addo and Co were against, only for them to come and attempt to water down the law. He talks about amendment. There are 31 amendments. I have the entire list here. I can take you through it. 31 amendments. How does it make sense that the law that you so much championed, all of a sudden you, the same person, must work on it, and you will remove 31 of the things from the same law? Then all of a sudden your president should sign. The president that promised us that he was going to sign the 2024 bill, all of a sudden he's saying that there are procedural issues, so go back. That's hypocrisy. Is what people are calling out.
Thank you so much. That's Dennis Miracle Aboagye. I have Dr. Osai Kwapong on Zoom. Good morning. Just let me be sure if you are there. I'll come back to you. Can you hear me, sir?
Good morning to you as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. The lawyer, Deputy Gaming Commission, NDC member will do a quick re-examination and then we can move on from this subject. Sam George had dealt with the matter.
Yes.
Dennis has just spoken. If there's anything you want to loose up or tie up before we can
Very
proceed.
well. I mean, good morning.
Musa, I don't think you want to talk about LGBT. Or have you done some polling on LGBT?
No, yes, I mean, before the elections,
yes.
What people said.
Okay, then I'll come to you do that for me. Yes,
Very well. Good morning to my colleagues here. I think that my brother Miracles has had a very good opportunity to speak about this and an attempt to expose some things he thought are hypocritical, but I think he has not been fair to the information and what has been historically established. See, we were in this country when e-levy bill was passed. Haruna Idrisu, Ablakwa, and others went to the Supreme Court to stop the implementation of e-levy. That suit was pending. In fact, it was in May 2022 that Supreme Court finally dismissed the injunction application. By March, prior to the decision on the Supreme Court decision, Akufo-Addo has signed it.
Yeah, but that's a court. Not
wait. I said there was a pending injunction application.
Okay. So he should have self-injuncted.
The same principle should apply.
Okay. That
because there was a pending suit in respect of LGBT bill that was passed, Akufo-Addo could not sign the bill.
Okay.
But in that same period, there was an application, injunction application before the Supreme Court. Akufo-Addo went ahead to sign the e-levy bill. I'll give another example. University of Education, Winneba, had some challenges. I don't know whether you remember in respect of the appointment of a VC.
Yes, so, I remember and that. I think Apenyumaki was lawyer for.
Exactly, and the swearing in of the new VC was a ceremony was scheduled for that. Mm-hmm. Now there was a pending application before the High Court in Winneba to stop that particular swearing-in ceremony.
Malto Aboagye.
Absolutely. Nanado disregarded the application and went ahead to attend the program where the new VC was appointed. And so if you tell me that he was just complying with the rules of court and the fact that there was an application that has been brought to his attention, and that is why he disregarded it, but that is why he did not sign the anti-LGBT law in 2024, then unfortunately, there's some inconsistency in how he has managed other related matters where there's an application before court. That aside, mind you that what was the essence in writing to the Clerk of Parliament? To desist and resist.
Cease and desist.
Ask yourself carefully, at that point, if there was an application before the court and it has been brought to the attention of the Attorney General, it is mandatory on the Clerk of Parliament not to transmit it. If he decides to do so, whoever filed the application can decide to hold him for contempt. Nanado had no business in writing to the Clerk of Parliament, in no way, to ask them not to bring the bill. And what we've said over and over is that he has other opportunities provided by the Constitution. 7-day window to let Parliament know whether he will sign or not sign. 14-day window to give reasons why he's not going to sign. For Parliament to consider those reasons, and if there's a need for an amendment, do so. But put all this aside. MPP's comment about the new bill has been that, oh no, John Mahama said he was going to sign the bill anyway, and so there is no need to make changes. But what society do we live in that we don't learn from our mistakes or learn from the views of others? In fact, even the Speaker's call for reconsideration is to consider the opinion of the minority, so that if there are inputs that are of great interest, we should consider them in a refined bill. Even though I have a challenge with the Speaker's call, because it's difficult to find any premise in law. But the question then is, Richard Sky and Co. went to court because they had cause to complain about certain portions of the bill at the time. And it was important that if this 9th Parliament has an opportunity now to review it, to pass it, and to take it to Parliament, it's important to incorporate all that in there. And what are the main concerns here? Is the exemptions. 3 main exemptions. Exemptions to lawyers, exemptions to medical, and then academics. So that where a lawyer provides...
And media.
And media, absolutely. Where a lawyer provides legal services for someone who has been accused of anti-LGBT conduct, that lawyer cannot be seen to be promoting or advocating or making anything that will bring him into question. Likewise, a medical doctor or a journalist. If a journalist publish a report or publish any story regarding anti-LGBT, that should not be seen as promotion. So
we have on the screen now the exemptions that have been captured.
Exactly. So these exemptions, and these are the main reasons why Team for Joy and others are complaining. And you're asking yourself over and over again, what exactly do they want? So shouldn't you have these exemptions? Is that your position? Is that the position? Because they keep saying that the bill has been watered down. It has been diluted. It's not the same bill that has been passed. But the question, must it be the same bill? Is this Parliament obliged to carry out work of the 8th Parliament in the same manner without reconsideration? Don't forget that new parliamentarians are in the 9th Parliament and have different views, have different perspectives to the bill. And that is what has been done.
Very well.
I really don't find any cause in this. We're just trying to score political points, and I don't see the points.
Okay. Musa, before I heard what the post said at the time, yeah, you have done a good job. I'm very happy and proud of you. You're a good boy.
For the first
time. Duncan Amwa is also here. Duncan Amwa,
the street people.
The street people
have joined the people who know.
Yes, who know the learned people.
The very clever guy.
Sander,
a quick comment on that before we go to the next topic.
Sander, 2 things quickly. LGBTQ plus. I think Musa should go back and help us. I'm sure most Ghanaians are not happy to hear about LGBT, although silently embedded within our communities or societies, you would find a few of these people who want to do their own thing. I think the sentiments that we, the Trotro people, also share is that, look, If for one reason or the other you decide to stray and do your own good or bad thing in your rooms, do that. We don't want you to flaunt it in our faces. And this is all we have asked Parliament to codify into a law.
Simple job.
Simple job. It's become MPP, NDC. Meanwhile, if you get onto the streets, there's no MPP or NDC about LGBTQ. I am happy when I hear the clergy, I hear the religious leaders. In fact, the chief imam has equally called on Parliament to do the right thing. Then you hear the Speaker of Parliament say that, look, as for me, I would make sure this law is passed. Finally, some way, somehow, the law is passed the previous Parliament, where he was the Speaker. For some technocratic reason, I was listening to my brother Dennis say that, oh, Richard had made a certain, presentation to the Supreme Court, and so there was a cease and desist. Let me be frank with my brother here. That got a lot of us Ghanaians upset. Okay?
That's why he said NDC benefited from this.
I agree with him. It is not in doubt that some votes would have been swayed to the NDC because the narrative was that, look, if it was the NDC, they would have probably signed this long ago. And so off the top of our heads, we were thinking, okay, so it is MPP that doesn't want to sign it. Okay, let's go to NDC and see. It's been a year and a half. Finally, we are told a bill has been passed. Amidst all the back and forth, whether the bill has been strengthened or weakened, we do not know. Then one of the chief proponents, who happens to be the Speaker, comes to all of us to say that bring it for reconsideration. Some of us will be wondering what the Speaker has seen that he probably thinks would need to be reconsidered before assent. But whatever it is, we are begging the NPP and NDC. We are not asking for this law because Taflache, they would say in Ghana, Jane will bet laws, Yamami. We have enough laws. But we want to be sure that if anybody decided to flaunt bedroom stuff in our faces, we have readily available laws to deal with that situation, and there's no doubt or dispute about it. If the two of them can come together, which I don't see happening because one seemed to have benefited from the previous situation and the other is also seeking to benefit from the current situation. But at the end of the day, when they are done benefiting from these situations, Sandra, you and I suffers. You go to the secondary schools and some of these elements exist there. Sometimes the teachers are even aware of them. But what steps can they take to, as it were, weed them out or correct the situation? Without these adequate laws or protection, people would see, they know, they hear, they keep quiet. Recently, I was not comfortable. There was this street protest that, it wasn't a protest, a carnival of a sort, that people sought to defend. People came out literally naked. And we were defending these. These are alien to our cultural norms. Sandra, when we were growing up, Chief, you see even a man sometimes without a shirt and you are wondering, by you, what's up? Although sometimes the weather is so warm. But for women now, literally, I mean, nothing.
Showing body.
Everything showing. And the cameras are on them and there's police protection. Please.
Okay.
If we destroy the culture we have today, I was happy, was it Dennis or Sam George said,
It's a good thing, Dennis.
If it's bad, then
you see, Sam George is not here to defend. But Sandra, if we succeed, like somebody has said, this generation, we are a lost cause. Okay? Sam George is now fighting for pornography, and that if you want to watch porn, you should put an ID. Please, you should go and focus on other things. Sandra, we beg. The kind of stress people go through in this country, it is not everything they will say publicly, right? So you may not have a need for, as it were, X-rated videos.
Yes.
An elderly man in his room with his wife, 65 years, it is the only way they enjoy themselves sometimes. Please, some of these things is not they are not even flaunting it on mainstream TV. Sanda.
So he should not.
He should focus on other things. That one I beg him. My own.
Allow you to watch. You mean he should? Sanjo should allow you to watch your
If
team.
people want to watch their thing on their devices or whatever, you see, you can put a lock.
Duncan Petre.
No, Miracle said that one with you. He mentioned you. He mentioned Miracle said he together with you. You like the women.
No.
It is, then is that
Duncan, Upetre. Just say it, Upetre.
Sanda, I can't speak for you.
You spoke for Sanda. You said you and Sanda. There's no way you.
Let me go to Musa Dankwa.
So,
maybe we'll do a poll for us to see whether the porn thing is popular.
I think I have to supply some information.
Oh, but okay.
No, just supply. You see, Duncan, what you need to bear your mind to is, if indeed the point you made about the law is where your concern is, then this law doesn't fix the problem. You see, I told you that there was something that happened with Hachu.
Yes.
That actually brought this whole uproar. Go and look at the law again. You'd realize that the real meat, when you pick section 2, the section 9, clause 2, that is where, in fact, section 9 says prohibition of propaganda,
Yes.
promotion. And advocacy. Then when you come to the clause 2, you create an exemption for some people that includes NGOs. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So I am against you trying to arrest Sanda and I because we are sharing one room. We are playing PS5 all night. Charlie, as we play, we think about the girls and we chat about them.
Where would they watch?
Where would they?
So you see, Sanda,
things?
you are coming in again.
No, I'm just making a point. No, let me end there.
Okay.
Let me really make this point. So I'm against that one. I'm against the fact that you see Duncan and I holding hands because we did talk something, then you say you are criminal. Those are like gray areas I felt were dangerous because it was even very subjective.
Okay.
But when it comes to the promotion, that is where it has been watered down.
Very well.
Why now you are saying that an NGO can, based on their own opinion, because the exemption is there, it's clear, or a professor can.
Why don't you read the exact?
No, let me read it to you. It's here. Let me read it to you.
It's important.
Yes.
Let me read it. So this is what section 9 clause 2 read.
Yes.
So section 9 is a promotion and all. Clause 2 says a person shall not A, promote or support an act prohibited under this act, which were
that's all.
Which, no, wait.
Let him finish.
Engage in, participate in, promote or support an act aimed at changing public opinion towards an act prohibited under this act.
But that's it.
Relax. Offer premises or any other movable or immovable asset, or provide any form of assistance promoting or prohibiting. This is the old law.
Yeah, okay, this is the old one. Okay.
And then it is also in the new law. Then after this new law has outlined all of these things, it creates exemptions. Then it says subsection 2 does not apply to.
Yes.
Why are you reading?
Okay.
No, it's here. I'm reading
It does not apply
Section are you
to.
reading to?
No, it's here. It's here.
Quote the section.
No, clause 9. Clause 9. Amended. Yes, amended proposal.
already.
Add the following.
So after 2,
So no, you see, I've read what 2 said.
Yes.
Yes.
And
So that one is codified in the law.
Yes.
Now the amendment is what I am telling you.
Okay.
The amendment is what I'm reading now.
That's
Miracle,
what I
all
read.
I've asked you, you've read 2,
So
and I
the
said, what are you
amendment is
reading?
part of what
Tell us
I've
what you are
been
reading. Exactly which section are you reading?
Oh, that's section 9.
Section 9 is a whole section, and you read section 9 too.
Yes.
Yes, but I can't read it.
Clause
You want me
9
to
too.
read
It's not
everything?
a lawyer. So
No, but you are giving the exemption.
No,
So
no,
give
but
the
yes, but
exemption.
you
See,
want
we are
me to-
educating
No,
the
I'm
public.
coming.
No, he's not following.
So you read clause 9 too.
Yes.
The second part you read, which says it's not exception.
No, so
that's
I'm
what-
saying that I read clause 9(2) of the existing bill.
Yes.
Then I'm saying that these were very good clauses because for me these are the actual clauses.
And it's maintained in this one too.
Then after it's maintained, it comes to create exemption for some people who are not affected by this clause.
Very
He
well.
was asking which
Clause are you
specific,
reading?
like,
Specific are the word exemptions are.
Oh, but I see it. That's what I'm reading to you now.
read it, write it out.
The title or the
Two, so it says clause 9, subsection 2 does not apply to A.
Yeah, where
The
are you reading this
provision
from? Yes,
of-
where are you reading this from?
From the new bill.
Yes, under which
particular section?
number?
Which
Nine
section are you
subsection
reading?
2, all right.
Because he just read 9(2).
No, okay, so see, I read 9(2)
Yes.
from the existing Act, the
Good.
2025 bill.
Good.
And I'm only reading the exemptions.
Yes.
The
So what's the title of the exemption? What's the number of the exemption?
No, I'm reading the proposed amendments.
Okay.
That's what, I think that's where.
Okay.
No.
That may not have
You see, we should be careful. Proposed amendments may not be part of the bill.
bill.
You understand?
Okay.
So if you are going to read and educate the public, read the exact bill that has been
contained in what
passed,
has been passed. Okay.
and not the proposed
So
bill.
this is in the bill.
So-
this is in the bill. Unless you have the bill and you can dispute.
I have the bill.
Okay, so dispute it when I finish.
Okay.
Dispute it.
No, but
he was asking for.
wait. You see, you say you're not making. You're not making an argument. You're providing information.
Don't disrupt
You sought
me.
no, but you sought
Dispute
permission
me.
from Sandra.
No,
Let-
so
let's-
this
let's-
is when I finish.
disrupting.
You sought permission. You're not making the point.
Say it.
You have nothing to.
No,
finish.
relax.
Okay,
relax.
so
You are
what-
making the point.
So was he wrong?
When I finish and I'm wrong, say it. It's okay. It's okay.
But
When I
what's the,
finish
so
and
what's
I'm
the
wrong.
sub-clause you are reading?
So I am now reading to you the exemptions. If the exemptions are not reflecting the law, you can say it.
The exemptions from where? The exemption must come from the bill. You can't read exemptions from a proposed amendment.
Okay.
And make that one a
Let me hear
point.
from Musa Dankwa, so we wrap up on this topic.
Let me not.
No, but see when you seek audience that you are going to
It's
provide us.
important.
When you seek audience, you're going to provide us
Okay, hold on,
information.
hold on.
It is
Provide
up to you to
information.
dispute.
Everybody hold on.
It's up to you to
Everybody hold on.
dispute. So
If it
I have
is-
read the
Dennis,
law.
if it's a fact, there's nothing to dispute
Exactly.
about. So can you mention what you're
yes, let me
reading?
mention the exemptions.
So you read 9
Exemptions from where? The exemption
Oh,
must come from the bill and
Yeah.
not a proposed
So is it a
amendment.
proposal or
So
does
who
the
is
bill as
proposing this
passed?
amendment? It's important. If it is part of the bill.
If I even who is proposing is
Then
very
yes.
important. The question is that is it part of the bill?
Exactly.
Because the amendment,
I agree.
the amendment may not have been.
Okay, so
the
let me
amendment
hear
may not have been
from
taken
so let me
into
hear from
consideration.
Dennis.
You would
So what are you reading? Read the title.
standard clarity.
amendments proposed. Amendments proposed. Then I read the bill with the clause 2. Then there's the amendments proposed. That is why I told him that when I finish reading these amendments, these proposed amendments, and you think that these amendments are not in the bill, you are free to say it. But I am telling you that they are in the bill, and you're asking me that where in the bill. I said pick the bill and look at it. Because that is where my concern.
But you
So you are
can't
reading
ask me to
Yes,
go through
but
the
that is-
entire bill.
but that is your
when you
business.
are making
And that doesn't
oh,
stop
come
me from.
on,
That
but-
doesn't stop me from
All right.
speaking.
You know what
speaking
I'll
to the
do?
issues.
Let me hear Musa so that we
No,
can
but
proceed.
let me conclude on this. But it's a very
You see-
important
you see,
point.
I gave you time enough
No, but
then.
he disrupted me.
No, he didn't disrupt you.
No, he
we went around the
disrupted me.
table.
We all
asked you same question.
It was Duncan's submission
No,
that you actually
but
came
I'm
into.
being truncated. I am
Yes.
telling you that.
Yes.
I have read 9.2 to you.
Yes.
Now 9.2 is very clear, very good clauses.
Yes.
That prohibits promotion.
Yes.
Which for me is really good.
Good.
The problem I have with the bill as it stands now, that's what I'm coming to.
Is the exemption,
Is the exemptions that has been created for academics.
which we have listed
that has
already.
been which is fact.
Yes.
Unless you dispute it.
No, that's
that has been
it.
created
So
for
media,
NGOs.
yes.
Those are the exemptions that I am saying that, Duncan, if those exemptions are allowed to stand, what it means is that it defeats what you and
purpose.
I are really
Very
looking
well.
for.
Okay.
That is the substance of what they are making.
All right.
Unless you dispute that those exemptions are
Thank
not
you.
there.
Let me hear from Musa. Let me hear from Musa Dankwa. Musa, just 1 minute so that we can move on to the.
Okay, LGBTQ plus. I think Ghanaians in general support the law to curb it, to stop its promotion and them flaunting it in our face. There's cross-country support. In the poll before the last election, only Upper West opposed the bill.
Upper West.
Yes,
They oppose the bill.
they opposed the bill. Upper West.
Sorry, surprised.
Overall, about 59% of Ghanaians supported the bill when it was passed, compared with 32% who didn't support it, and 9% did not have an opinion about the bill. Now, if you go to the regions, every region supported it by majority. In Upper West, 72% opposed it, and only 16% supported it. In Ahafo, 38 supported it and 45 opposed it. In Northeast, 44 supported it and 47 opposed it. So,
Really?
yes,
They are opposed to the bill.
yes.
Okay.
You have
But why not?
cascaded.
If you want to jail me from sleeping in the same room with Umanda, I will be against it.
I'm not going to sleep in the same room with you, Dennis.
But
Let's
then
go.
the big question was, did Nanado's refusal to sign the bill impact the way you vote?
But you can't put that question. Another has not refused to sign
No,
the
no,
bill. There was no
okay.
bill before him.
Nonsense.
That was the question that was
Okay,
put. That caused
okay.
problems for us.
The question is, if the president does not assent to the bill,
Yes.
would that influence how you vote in the election? That was the question that we put.
Okay. And they said yes.
50% said no.
50.
Yes, said no.
Okay.
Only 37 said yes. and 30% said they didn't have an opinion.
So LGBT didn't affect.
No, there was an element, but normally because there were bigger ticket issues facing Ghanaians, those who used that to vote probably were the religious fundamentalists.
Okay. I think you've clarified the matters now. Then so it says that LGBT is not the reason you lost the.
Who is saying it?
No, I'm saying that's what Musa's.
No, but I don't believe Musa's data. But now on but it's public. But he knows. But now why should you?
But he got vindicated.
Where from where?
You have contrary
On December 7th.
Oh, actually, plenty of people predicted December 7th. The most difficult one was Nima.
But he was scientific.
That was the most uncomplicated one. December 7th was simple.
But he was scientific.
December 7th,
December 7th, you knew you were losing.
No, I'm saying that I'm saying that a lot of people predicted.
You are saying
well, of course, if you are going for a second term, we have never had a third term government. Like nobody. So it's easy for you to tilt towards that side.
All right.
It's not difficult.
It's a norm.
Yeah, I mean
this is a big issue.
In every mature democracy,
For just a second.
Yeah.
In all this debate and this discussion, sometimes the challenge we've had is that when we are putting out official positions or what is supposed to be in the bill, we tend to take certain proposals and then put them out as though they are part of the bill and create that challenge and problems and misleading the public. When my brother Miracles pointed out section 9.2 of the bill, he read it out. Then he was now going to exemptions that affect NGOs. We asked him to give us that portion of the bill that says so. And he says in proposed amendment. Proposed amendment may be or may not be accepted. So it is unfair to feed the public with some of these things and make it look like it's a position of parliament on the matter.
Thank you so much.
It's misleading.
Very well.